All right. This is Rob from Omnic Lab, and I will be doing a gold ranked VOD review for a diamond patron for the show, Lisome. Or if you're from Japan, people would probably like to pronounce your name Lisome. But that's besides the point. Let's talk about Zarya. So he wants the majority of this to be about Zarya. However, later in the game, he makes a couple switches. I'll comment on one of the switches a little, and then priority is going to be about the Zarya play in particular, because it's clearly his strongest hero in the batch that he plays during this game, and typically on the attacking side. So let's get into it right here. But before we actually start rolling the clip, I want to talk about some things that are just things you always want to do with Zarya, right? First thing, high energy. High energy means high damage. It means that you are a bigger threat to the enemy, and you can present yourself as such, so that you can become a beacon and people start attacking you, thus making sure that while they're attacking you, they're not attacking your supports, and you can thus peel for them, or you can peel for another target that is a DPS, or you can protect them. Second, ultimate use. Ultimate use is got to be clutch, because it is one of the most powerful things for setup in the entire game, and it can virtually flip a fight at less than a second. So you have to be able to get that ultimate quickly. You also need to be able to be high energy and also manage your shield. So there is a difference between being an offensive Zarya and a team Zarya. In solo queue, I prefer people who play I prefer to play Zarya as more of a team Zarya rather than the high energy Zaryas that a lot of the top level players will end up playing, because at this rank, people die so fast because they're just not paying attention. They're not that skilled. Even in my rank, in platinum and upper platinum, lower diamond, they're just not good enough typically. So you have to basically be a team player, peel for your supports, and save those barriers. This means you're not going to be burying stuff unless nothing's happening, and you can get free charge off the barriers, and then you're playing around the engagement based on your cooldowns. So I'm going to be looking for Lisome here to basically be using his barriers as, if they're up, it's time to go in, or if they're up, it's time to disengage, or if they're up, I'm going to protect X, Y, or Z here with them. And then when the ultimate's up, I'm going to be communicating with my team. I'm going to be looking for opportunities to fire. Sometimes that means you don't have time to communicate. Other times it's just like go time, right? And then there's more often than not, you just need to say, hey, I got it. Hit the Z key, hit the tab button, see who's got their ultimates. Okay. And then the last thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is you are not the front line. You are not the front line. You are a tank. You're an off tank. But in this position for his team, he's going to be functioning more as a main tank until somebody picks Reinhardt. But mainly because he's basically running Diva with him. So let's just watch. Okay, you have 2 seconds. 0 charge. And engagement. And then you use a self-charge, you get 30 things, and then you back out. Okay, you should have not... For starters, you're using the barriers more for charge already. And then we're going to comment on positioning here. Now look, you have a wide open lane. Diva's going after the Widow who just killed your Mercy, and you guys are engaging on Junkrat. You're engaging on Junkrat solo here. You need to be functioning with your team. Look, you're still here. You just lost 4 people, dude. 4. And you're still behind enemy lines, not disengaging. Mercy's... You basically baited the Mercy to come help you, and now she's dead. Sorry, dude. So you cannot stay in when you drop 2-3 people behind the point, unless they also have dropped 2-3 people. You were basically 6v1 there. Mercy comes in and you get her killed. Now you traded 1 for 1. You guys can engage 5v5 here, no problem. He's communicating. Carries down. Let's go. All right, now your other tank's down, so you got to wait. And you go and engage. Second, I'm going to comment here. you're playing Junkrat's game. You're not playing your game as Zarya. You don't go into tight spaces against Junkrat. You also see me not commenting too much on your team comp here by running an offensive Symmetra, because I think the offensive Symmetra, aside from running against Widowmaker, is fine. Her decisions are pretty bad, and how she's choosing to play Symmetra is pretty bad, but, I mean, what are you going to do? You can't control that. Now, I will say that generally speaking, your timing for saving yourself with the barriers is generally pretty good. And I've also noticed that your accuracy is pretty decent with the tracking and long range pulse bomb. Well, not pulse bomb. Whatever these things are called, grav bomb. Your right clicks basically are generally pretty good. But when you're fighting dueling that Widow up in the window, your mid-range like right clicks need some practice. You got to practice your right clicks. You got to right click more than you currently do as well, because that is your biggest bread and butter damage. Also, why are you out here? There's zero reason for you to be here. You're solo. You're alone. Tracer comes in to support you because she thinks you're going to die, and then she pieces out. So there's no reason to be contesting those guys there because they're not contesting you. This is not a bad grab, but you need to burn the shield down as way, way more before you grab. And second, your team isn't even with you when you drop the grab, and you're not even communicating that you're going to use it. So you got to use the grab. It's fine, but that is a grab in which you had just used it immediately instead of communicating with the team and setting it up. That one just team wipe, so you realize what happens. Fine. Yeah, your comp is a little rough. Like Symmetra, Genji, Mercy, Diva, Zarya. Like the other thing that you would even consider is, like, I know this is your rank and then you're trying to play a hero that you're good at, which makes total sense. But like Zarya's utility is nil unless that Genji's popping off and he's ready to go. Something you're also gonna see here. Yeah, like that right there is brilliantly timed bubble to like get and peel out. That's fine. I'd like you to communicate a little bit more with your Diva here. Because like she's going in and you're like really concerned with getting 100 charge and like peeling for your supports. So I think you want to get the Diva to come back and help you out because Diva's going to die. Unless Diva's going in with the Genji, in which case that's fine. And it looked like that's what's going on because Genji's just popped off. He got 2 kills. They got a pulse bomb. You got a kill. You guys are taking this point easy. Also, I've noticed that you tend to get a little bit more comfortable and you're playing Zarya a little bit better the longer this goes. Especially on this point, too. You guys played amazingly well here. And this is what I'm talking about. Your long range right clicks are fine. Like, you're hitting targets. Use it, dude. Use it. Practice your mid-range ones. Also, stop trying to duel the Widow. No reason for it. Just stay with your tank. That's really, really close. You almost got the Reinhardt there. Okay, disclaimer, he's going to flub the ult here. Not his fault. He told me beforehand he misclicked here. Yeah. In which case, the Genji knew that you were going in. And that's really good because he actually used it when he heard it. He didn't use it when he saw it. So it's kind of a danger. I kind of would like to know where stuff is, but that's just the rank. Like, Genjis at this rank are not going to be looking. They're just going to be like, oh, snap, I hear grab. I'm going to use my ult. Good kill. Very good here. Now, I'd like to see you disengage better here. And this is a point of contention. Okay. Let's back that up. Watch this. So this is an example of poor barriering. And I think you admit it later, but I just want to make sure. So Reinhardt's going to ult, and you know that he's got it at this point. Like, he hasn't ulted you guys in a long time. Okay. So you barrier instantly yourself and then the Symmetra. Bad decision. Unless the Reinhardt is diving you directly, you do not need to the barrier yourself. You're not taking any damage. The point of contention is the Symmetra. Now, in my opinion, I think burying the Symmetra here is a poor decision because look at how far he's got to go. 1, 2, 3. Killed. He just killed your Symmetra right there. And the reason being is if you would wait and barrier them while they're being pinned before they hit the wall, you actually get free charge. Your Symmetra lives, and there's a real good chance that this guy dies before anything else happens and he can swing his hammer. So you have to be better about the timing with the pinning of this and like how you react in panic situations, because I think in general, if you're not panicking, your stuff is generally okay, like when you're burying stuff. And I really do think that the Zarya play is fine in that regard. But you're going, again, too much for the charge and not so much for accurately saving things. And like, I'm gonna let the clip roll a little bit more, but like when your cooldowns are up, just see if somebody is already taking damage when you bury them here. Watch. So we're gonna skip ahead. Okay, look. 100% a blind barrier. You have no clue if she's taking damage. Again, it won't matter in this situation because you're not engaging yet. And now your barrier's back up. But still, very sloppy. Like, you just wait. Just wait. Wait until somebody is taking damage. Like right there. See? Great. Your self barriers are typically better than your barriers on allies. So I'll give you that. Your barriers are pretty good there. Your barrier's almost up again. And you're not really monitoring where the tracer went right there. You just see that that guy's way deep. Way too deep, the Genji. And again, you're engaging without staying on the payload here. And I think this is a go ultimate if I remember right. Yes. Watch the barriers here. So Winston gets ulted. That's key. Right there. Okay. At this moment, I ult every time. You want to shut this down. You shoot it right there. Reaper just wraithed. Like, you're paying attention to all these things. Reaper, Winston are as good as dead. I mean, you got D.Va right here. She might have her bomb. You don't know. But that's a whole nother argument I'm going to get to at the end of the video. Watch. You just bury this. This barrier's actually fine. She's taking a lot of damage. You get a bunch of charge. You're up to 52. And then the Winston jumps. This is another good spot to use your bubble while you're staying in. But the problem is Winston sees your bubble and he just backs off. So, again, a second good bubble here. And then he bubbles. And you just disengage. You killed the Ana. You guys should all be on the payload right now. And then Tracer goes down. Your D.Va's mech goes down. And then D.Va kills the other mech. So they're basically baby D.Va fighting. And then they just rest while you kill their D.Va. At this point in time, they have both supports and you're down 1. I don't know why your team is choosing to disengage or why you're choosing not to lead with this, because you've got the ultimate. This is the quintessential good ultimate where you're there and maybe one player is here and nobody else is taking advantage of it. So you just like put on your big boy carry pants and make sure something happens. The problem is you hit it a little early or hit a little late where when you throw it down, Winston's not here. Like, what I'd like to see is wait for your team to force Winston back because he's just engaging a little. He's waiting for his cooldowns, and then you fire this off. So Winston gets in there, and he's not getting focused, and then he waits for the grab to go down and then goes out. So what you want to do is you actually want to just, like, you be blowing him up and have Genji dashing in. Genji's a little slow in this because you didn't call it out. And you probably could have just fired it a little sooner. That's just kind of unfortunate that they dropped 2 ults here, in my opinion. But you do drop the Reaper because your D.Va is actually performing pretty well. She gets 2 kills here. There's no reason for you and D.Va to be here whatsoever. Mercy is coming towards you. You know she's going to ult, and your Mercy is, like, way in the back. So here you're basically, like, this is the Mercy issue for you in this last moment. Again, this is not the whole game. This is just in this last moment I picked up on this. You see this giant beam on the Reaper here? Look at this. You and your entire team is ignoring the fact that Mercy's sitting up here uncontested, completely free. Still free. Look at this giant beam. If you're fighting this Reaper, there's a beam attached to him. Kill the beam bearer, my friend. Look, the beam is right in front of you. Let me kill the Reaper. Like, your whole team, like, free res on the Reaper there. Not because of any other reason, because no one has a wherewithal to kill the Mercy. Like, you got to kill the Mercy here. Got to. It's like hyper tunnel vision by your whole team. Also, you're really close to your ultimate, and you heard the Ana ult, so you know something's about to happen. And your Mercy's positioning is so bad, but I won't comment on that. All right, so you kill the Mercy right here. This is huge. Soldier kills your Mercy. That's real bad. All right, and then you got the Ana ult into Reaper ult, and then you grab. And what happens is nobody can survive. They flip the point because they basically ult the point, and you ult the point. What I would have liked to have seen is maybe you ulting them off the point on the left instead of ulting to get everyone. You just pull people off, and you kill and isolate somebody else, if that makes sense. All right, I'm going to end the Zarya comments here because you switched to Mei, but overall, this is a pretty good game for Zarya. And your positioning is generally okay. You're a little bit too in the face because of your diva being a little passive or a little too aggressive, and you kind of just like follow her lead, I think, a little. And that might be not too much of an issue for me. But yeah, you're around 2,300, I think, at this moment. Not a bad game on offense. There is a huge glaring issue that a lot of people wouldn't even see here, but you hit the tab button a grand total of 0 times this entire game. You have no idea how many people have ultimates. You have no idea when they have their ultimates. You have not hit the Z button a single time the entire game to let people know you have grab, and you used grab on cooldown twice the entire game. The good news is you got grab about 4 times, I think, on one push. Like, over the course of the game, you used about 4 grabs. That's not bad. 4 grabs pretty good. Generally speaking, if you have 4 grabs and you land a couple of them, like 2 or 3 of the 4 grabs, then you're probably in good shape. And the fact that none of them gotten eaten when the diva was around was great. You did miss one readily available from just maybe a misclick or a fat finger or whatever. You hit the wall. Unfortunate, but it happens. I'm not even going to comment on it. So definitely get into the habit of when you're disengaging or when you're reloading and nothing's really happening, you need to hit the tab button. You need to hit the tab button every time you die. You didn't die very often, but that's a big plus. But every time you die, you have to hit it. You got it. Discipline. Hit the tab button. Check ults. See what people are doing. You're also really quiet of a teammate. It's hard to play Zarya and be quiet. You got to let people know when you've got what you got. When you got your barriers, when you got your grav. I will say that you can probably be, if you're a little bit more on point with using the barriers while people are taking damage, as opposed to using them preemptively when people are going in, you're probably gonna double your charge rate ratio as Zarya. Just because when people are taking damage, they typically will finish the clip while they're taking damage, even though it's a bad idea, or because they want that somebody might be low, and the Zarya bubbles only have about 200 HP, and especially if you're playing heroes that can do like 200 to 0 in like no time, they just burn through the Zarya barriers anyways. Especially the higher up you go, I see people burning through Zarya barriers, especially when Junkrats are around, just because they want to kill the guy who's super low, so they just burn through it to kill the person. Now, if you have the bubble on your self bubble, it's a little bit of a different story. But when you're barriering allies, it's something that's a discipline. You got to make sure they're taking damage when you're bubbling them. You don't preemptively bubble. You also don't bubble right before somebody's gonna die, unless it's a pin situation with the Reinhardt, especially, or when you see a diva bomb, or when you see like something that is a delayed blow up explosion, like a diva bomb or a Junkrat tire, or even a fair ult. So those are some things that you got to do. And then I did see, even I got tilted that Genji like deflected 2 fire strikes. You were very clearly trying to go and eat with your barrier, so you could get charge. But after the first one of those, I don't even try to self barrier because in the second situation, because I saw the Genji in your right peripheral and you still self barriered. And then you bury the Reinhardt while his shield's up, which is not a bad idea if you're trying to build ult. But the problem was you didn't have it the next moment when somebody else died. Especially when a Widow is being a problem. It's really hard to get good barrier value because she's just going to wait for it to expire. So you need to pay attention to everything else that's going on.
Plus he yelled at me.
All right, let's move on to this Mei part here.
Has it been
I don't know if you want more comments on your Mei play. Personally, I know it's probably not right for me to do it, but I like to actually stand a little bit closer and guarantee I shut off every avenue here of the wall. And also, you're not going to get a whole lot of wall value when he dodges right into you here. You don't need to be that close for the barrier or for the spray. I would recommend if you want to improve with Mei, run around in maps, get a good gauge of just running around with your primary fire on and figuring out what stuff you can actually reasonably hit. And stay at the max range. Don't get in the middle range or the close range because you're not doing any more or less damage. You're just putting yourself at increasing risk when you're closer to tanks and closer to higher priority targets. And you don't really pay attention very well to where those Widowmaker's rounds are. And I think that you can shut her down with the walls more than you can get value out of shutting people off into your team, if that makes sense. Turning off Widow's usefulness for a few seconds is really good, especially since you know she's a carry. You know she's doing well against your team. She may not be the best Widow in the world. She may not even be a good Widow to begin with, but she's doing well against your team in this particular match. I like this flank on the Mercy here. I really do. I think this is a great play. Perfect. Good, dude. Nice. Good shut off. Perfect wall. Excellent disengaging here. This is awesome. Also, you land this sweet headshot there, and you're just putting in pressure with the icicles. Great. I'd like to see you use the icicles even more because your icicles are not bad. Good play. Playing with your Reinhardt, playing with your soldier. You guys get stuff done. Nice. Your Mei play is not bad, dog. I like this. All right, now you have your ultimate. At this point, anytime I get my ultimate, I ping it with Z, and I hit tab and see who else has got theirs. At this point in time, you also... Here, I'm going to pause the video again. At this point in time, I also not just like to increase your ability to tab and check other people's ultimates, because when you do that, you're going to start learning about the time periods of when people get their ultimates, even if you don't play those heroes. And furthermore, you're going to get a gauge of how those particular people on your team are getting them as opposed to what the norm is. So you can know who's kind of a little bit weaker on your team. You can protect them. Or who's a little bit stronger in your team, and you can be like, man, I want to make sure that guy lives because I'm going to wall them off with this guy, and he gets stuff done. And the other thing I'll notice here is the more you learn that skill, the more you can actually gauge how enemies are going to gauge their ultimates because you're checking your teams. You're like, okay, so it's about a couple minutes. Reinhardt's got his ult. Widow still hasn't used hers. If Widow's got wall hacks, then boom, they can get me with their tracer really easily. You know, those type of things. So, like, by this time, in my opinion, Reinhardt's probably got his ult. He's really close, but not your Reinhardt, their Reinhardt. Winston's really close to his. He's died a couple times, but he's been zip-zapping around. Mercy's most likely got her ultimate here. Also, don't even mess with this Widow. You don't duel Widows on Mei. It's not something Meis do. You don't duel. Right here, I was super tilted watching this because you are in an excellent position. You're performing really well. You have all your cooldowns, and you're not hitting Q when all of their team is right here except for Widowmaker. Watch. Watch again. Okay. So you mess with the Widow. You're getting in a better position while peeling. Kind of set up this Winston. Winston's here. Look at how many people are here, dude. So many. Just ult. You can ult. You can set everybody down. Widow just got 2 kills. You can carry out of this fight. You didn't use your wall. You didn't lock anybody up. You didn't peel for your team. I was like, man, this Mei is pretty good. And then, like, that one moment literally flipped the entire game for your Mei play. And I was pretty sad because I was like, dude, if you would have made, like, one choice different, Lisome could have carried this game and looked like an absolute boss. So I say all that to say, A, you screwed up, but B, you were not doing bad until that moment, right? So have a little confidence in your May play. I don't know how much you play this May, but it's not bad, dude. Also, what are we doing with this? Reinhardt, Bastion, what are you doing, dog? That shield's going down. You see the cracks right now. Like, there's no reason to mess around here. You also just don't hold that position. You hold the corner here. Sorry. Let me back up. You don't hold this choke here. You hold the choke this way, diagonally, and you cut off all of the lines of sight. So Widow can only shoot like the far left of Reinhardt's shield if he wants to. And Reinhardt doesn't even have to put his shield up. Bastion also should probably be on the high ground on this side up here, way up there, and then shooting backwards or even in the window. So anyways, I think that covers most of the stuff I'm going to talk about. You switch to McCree. Looking at the team comp, I'm just like confused as to why you picked McCree. Your May was fine. Just stay on the May. Maybe you were worried about a certain hero. I mean, I'm not sure what you were thinking. I do think that your team would have done really well with a Reaper that knew what they were doing. So maybe Reaper is something in your arsenal you could have picked out. Zarya plays fine. I think Zarya and May are two heroes that you should be very comfortable continuing to learn, continuing to play. With May, the only other thing I would say is just use your right click way more, and then get more comfortable with the range on that primary fire. Again, your positioning is something that's just going to have to come, but I think right now you can take this video. My advice is going to be a little bit strayed because I'm not like GM looking way down. I'm looking at from a plat level. I'm like mid upper plat, kind of looking down on gold. And it took me a long time to get out of gold, so or at least as far as like what I had to do differently to jump tiers, and I'm just finding that that's what I need to do now to get out of plat to plat to diamond. But again, feel confident, work around your cooldowns. You got to play around your hero's kit. You have a general scope of what things do when you have ultimates going, and like what's going on, generally speaking. I feel like sometimes it looks like your tunnel vision is so concerned at what you are currently doing that you're not looking at other options. So maybe looking to be a little bit more flexible with your kit and protectionary and not so much of a solo aspect. Maybe like shutting down areas or setting up zones, depending on how offensive or defensive. Okay. Hopefully this is helpful to you, Lisome. I'm glad you sent in this review. We haven't done one in a while. And thanks for choosing me to do it. So you have a good one, buddy. And hopefully you get something out of this pretty long video. I almost made it 30 minutes for you. So enjoy. Bye, bud.